Thanks for tuning in today. Sorry about the noisy sheep. He just can't help himself. He's got to be a part of the video. So anyway, what we're going to show you how to do today is build a little hay loft that'll hold about 2 bales of hay. We have a very tiny farm. 2 bales last us probably a month. So that's usually all we would ever need at a time. This is how to build a hay loft off of a wall. So you need already an existing wall like we've got here. We've got this nice roof, and you want to keep your hay dry, of course. So the first step we did is I got these cement blocks at Lowe's, and I took an 8-foot 4x4 post, made a hole through it. So I got my post on here. When it's nice and strong, you can actually move these with the cement block. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to set these up in the position. I'm going to dig a little bit and make sure they're nice and flat. And these are going to be, they're going to help keep it stable, because bays of hail are pretty heavy. I think they're somewhere around 60-70 pounds a piece. So this is going to need to be capable of holding about 150 pounds or so. So we want it nice and strong. And that's why I'm using these sturdy leg posts instead of just using some brackets on the wall. All right, so I'll go ahead and get this leveled, and we'll get these in place. All right, we got little Minnie the donkey. Little Minnie the donkey wanted to show up and see what we're doing, make sure we're doing a good job. So I got that one nice and level. The ground is a little harder on this one, so I got to break it up a little bit because my concrete block was kind of rocking. You want to make sure it's sitting nice and flush on the ground. So if you have to, you got to stir up a little more of the dirt so there's no super hard spots, so that it can just settle down in nice and flat. Okay, so we got that. See a hard spot there? We got a lot of clay in our soil here, and it can get pretty hard. But fortunately it breaks up pretty easy. Okay, let's see how that works. It's still rocking a little bit. If you look at the concrete block, it rocks a little. We don't want any rocking. Just gotta stir it up a little more. There we go, that hopefully did the trick. Let's see what we got. There, nice and solid, no rocking. And looks like Kevin has finished his dinner, so he's going to come bug us. So we're going to give him some more food so he'll leave us alone. Oh, maybe he's just going to lay down. That's a good Kevin. This is Kevin Bacon, by the way, if you haven't met him yet. Okay, so we got this in a good solid spot. And I want it about 16 or 17 inches to the edge from the wall. Yep, Kevin's decided to bug us. Are you hungry? Let's get you some more food. Make sure you don't want to measure from the top, because these can move a little at the top. So what you want to do is measure down here at the bottom. And I've got this, the edge of the metal bracket is 17 inches from the wall. So that's what I've got, both of them at 17 inches. You don't want to measure the top, like I said, these can vary a bit. So I got these laid down. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the cross beam that's going to sit on these. The reason I'm not fastening it down just yet is because I'm going to need to actually remove it in a minute. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to have a 2x4 on the wall, sort of a bracket to hold the other side of the shelf. So I'm going to level it up with this, and then make sure, then I can move this out of the way so it's not in my way when I'm screwing in the other one. So actually, before I level that, I want to make sure these are fairly level. They don't have to be perfect, but should be pretty level. And that looks good. Let's try this, check this one. This one's a little off. I'm going to sneak it down that way. Okay, that's fairly level. Alright, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my level on the top here. And that looks pretty close to level. And then I'm going to make a mark on the wall where the top of my other 2x4 needs to come. So it's going to be right there. And then one down at the other end. And for good measure, I'll put one somewhere in the middle here. Let's go here. Yeah, maybe one here. Gotta double check that. Looks good. Looks good. Okay, so now I know where the top of my other 2x4 needs to come. I'll go ahead and take this down for now. Set it aside. Next, what I need to do is locate the studs along this wall so I can make sure to drill the cross beam that's going to be up against the wall into the studs. And I'm going to show you a little cheat technique. Probably not the best technique, but it's one that works for me, and I think it saves a little time. So we're going to go inside the shed. We'll say hi to little Sparky. Hi, Sparky. How you doing, baby? All right, so what I'm going to do is first kick the goats out. So what I'm going to do, let's see, I'm not sure how well you can see it here. I'll take this tripod. So I'm going to find the studs here, and then I'm going to drill a hole right next to where the stud is, so it'll pop out on the other side. It's kind of dark. I don't know if you can see this. So what I've done there, you can see the light coming through. So I drilled a hole right next to the stud. Now when I go on the outside, I'll know that the stud is right next to that hole. So I'm going to do that on several of the studs here. Sorry about the mess that is my shed. And then that way I'll know exactly where all the studs are. So I'll know it's just, when I'm out there looking in, it's just, the stud's just to the left of the holes. So I have the holes that I drilled from the inside showing where the studs are. So I'm going to mark them up a little higher because my board is going to go right about there and I need to see where they're at. So I'm going to mark close to what would be the center of the stud. Make a little mark up on the wall. Probably right there would be better. And just in case you're wondering, my sheep is not dying. That's what he sounds like all the time. Okay, so I got the marks there. Anyway, so I'll mark that. That's where the top of my board needs to come. And actually I should mark it where the holes are going to be. Okay, so actually I'm not going to level the wall because this could be a little unlevel. The main factor is it needs to be straight across from this. So it might be a little off on level, but it should be pretty close. Then what I'm going to do is mark where my holes are going to go so I can pre-drill them. So let's see. Got one here. One here. I'm going to do 2 holes each one. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to just pre-drill my holes all down the board here. Alright, then the other thing I like to do is go ahead and start all my screws. Just saves you that extra step once the board's up on the wall. You've got them all ready to go. And I'm using a 3-inch screws on this. Number 9 screws. With 2 in each one, this should be pretty strong. I screw them in so they don't fall out, but not enough so they poke through the other side. And then I'm going to go ahead and put it up. Go ahead and line this up with our marks on the wall. With our screws all in place. Got to up my ratchet. Actually, that countersunk pretty well, but I want to make sure they go in good and strong. Once you got 2 of them in, then you don't have to hold it anymore. somehow this is now rocking. I think that might have been some of Kevin's doing. I left this sitting for a few hours and he likes to mess with stuff. So we're going to have to level that back up. And with all the weight on it too, that'll help it settle when it's all done, so should be okay. Okay, next we're going to put this big guy up. And I'm going to do one last level check. Oops. That's pretty close. Alright. Here's our board that's going to make our shelf. That's going to be real nice. Want that to come right to the end there. So the first thing I'm going to do is screw this down to my 2x4 in the wall, and then I can kind of maneuver this to make it as level as I need it to be. And then I'll screw it down, and I've got some brackets to attach this to this, because right now this is just sitting here. So not super sturdy, so we got to be careful. Some 2-inch nails for this. And I want to pre-drill this as well because this is thin and can easily split. Do one on each end, and then I'll come back and get the middle. Go. Now we have the shelf screwed down in the back. So now I'm going to kind of get this as level as I can, since it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, that's about level right there. scoot that down. Yeah, that's about level. So I'm going to go ahead and screw. Hopefully that will stay. So what I have for that is I have these little brackets. So that's how I'm going to attach these two things together. Now the dog's barking. Everybody wants to get in on the action. So I'm going to go ahead and screw this in. Now let's level up the other one and get some brackets over there. Excuse me, Kevin. Okay, so I'm going to do my final level check. Once I screw these in, there's no more moving it. So it looks like that's the way it needs to slide a little. Go ahead and put in some screws. Sorry, Kevin. Didn't mean to get in your way. And one last screw. And there we have it. There's our hay shelf. Now let's go get some hay on it. Woo! That's a heavy bale of hay. Look out, Kevin. Alright, so our nice sturdy hay rack is done. Now it's eating time. Let's feed the animals. Thanks for watching. What you think, man? You guys excited about the new members of our tribe?